Okay, it's April the 5th, 2012. It's 8:40 p.m. and this is Humber Bay again. Now I have the good stand and I have the camera adjusted to high definition, wide frame. This is what the area looks like from far away. I'll even back off to show that it's Humber Bay right there. The lake is on the bottom. And that's Humber Bay in Toronto. I'm going to go back to these and see. I have this slow focus or zoom on, so that I can go in increments to see the arrangement. And let's see how they look in high definition. Let's see these right here. You can see below that yellow cluster on the left top corner. You can see the orbs are going to form another cluster. Let's check that out. Yeah, they're going to form another cluster right there. You see them merged together. So when those two little ones merge, there'll be another big cluster like the one above. I'm just going to pull it up a little bit so you can see what they're doing. You can see the organisms just zooming around. Those black things, they're the organisms. They're all over the place. The reason you don't see them, they're all over the place in the daytime or at night, and you can't see them from close up because they move so fast when they're close to you. Your perception is just not capable of perceiving or seeing them. Your eyes just cannot adjust fast enough, and your brain can't register it fast enough. So just watch how they make a big cluster. See them exchanging organisms back and forth. These are living things, and they're insect type living things, but very, very intelligent, and they know how to use energy very well, and they also create energy very well. I'm going to take a look at this bigger one on top. Camera shaking a little bit because I'm working the zoom. And you can see that one has bigger organisms because it's a bigger cluster. The size of the cluster determines the size of the organisms in it. The little clusters have babies or young, and the larger clusters have the big adults, or there's no adults here actually. They'll come later on tonight. They only come like really late at night and interact with the colony. Right now I guess they're out hunting for food because all this movement and momentum requires a lot of energy, and they gotta get it somehow. So they get it from living things. They can also get it from just ordinary matter, like ore or inanimate matter. But they mostly get it from living things, if living things are available on a planet. And these things are not from this planet, our planet. They're from someplace else, far away. They do intergalactic travel, and they do dimensional and time travel, and you can see how fast they move, and this is not their fastest movement. This is only not even semi-fast. Boy, it's so cold out tonight. My eyes are tearing already. So you can see that these are larger organisms than the ones I showed last time in this particular cluster. Let's see some more. Here's a big one. I'm going to back off again to show where those things are. Let's check these out. I'll move in closer after you see it from a farther distance, just so you could see all three of them. I'll go in closer. Let's see this one first. See, that's already going to be a hexahedron cluster. You could practically see the shape forming already, and as soon as it starts popping up those horns, the X, the two on top, two on the bottom, that's energy being fed out to the exterior, or the farther away from the center members of the cluster. And each cluster has a nucleus, and that's what those are that are glowing. They're nuclei for different size clusters, because there's so many of these organisms, they need more. See that one disappear? It didn't want to be on film. There it goes. It's back. Oops, sorry, I hit the stand. Okay, there on the bottom you can see all the orbs. I'm holding it with my hand now, so it's going to be shaky. You can see the orbs. See, those aren't as big as the one that was up on top. Let's see if I can get closer. Okay, now I'm at maximum. So the one on top was bigger organisms than all of these. And you can tell that the one on the bottom has even smaller organisms in it. So that's the age difference in their development, different stages of development. They can be very small initially. I destroyed 2 nests with tiny little grubs that when you go to step on them, they elongate into like foot-long worms. But boy, they can crawl fast, and they undulate just like, not like a snake sideways, but in an up and down undulation, like a sea monster or something. Loch Ness monster. You know how they say it undulates, something like that. That's the undulation that these things do when they're grubs. If you try and step on them and they try to run away. Okay, I'm gonna go look at something else. Okay, down here by the water, and this is right across the bay here, all the way to the woods, and the bridge is right in there. That's where the bridge is, right over here. Let's see if I can see it. The bridge is not lit up, so I can't really see it. And that's just in the small trees all along the water. They're full of these things, and this is right across the water, and these are right on the water. Okay, let's see down. So you can see that there's a lot of organisms, and you can see how fast they can move. And if you look at the daytime video, which is only shot at 80x, you can see like the whole picture, or what it really looks like at Humber Bay, even in the daytime. Even though it's not as maybe clear cut as this one, but you can see the larger picture of what's going on and how many of these things there really are, and that they're active day and night. They never stop, and they only can increase speed. They can't really slow down too much. They can slow down by choice, but it's not the preferred thing to do. Their whole life is spent in the fast lane, and I mean supersonic fast lane, where they just move so fast that they're beyond our perception. And this is why we don't see them. They're all around, but we can't see them because they move so fast, especially when you're close to them. There's no way to see one. You have to look at them from far away. So you got a good look at this small cluster on top. Let's see the two down here. This is right above the water, maybe less than 6 feet above the water. Could be like 2 or 3 feet, could be even right on top of the water. It's hard to tell in the dark. That one there on the left looks like it's half submerged. This could be happening right in the water. Either that or right on the surface. So as you can tell, the water doesn't slow them down that much. It does slow them down, but not to the point where we can notice it. I'm sure they can, but for us, it's difficult. Yeah. I wish YouTube wouldn't take days to load these things up, because every upload takes days, and I gotta tie up a computer. just to do that. It's very unfortunate. But I really want to show this so that everybody can see that these things are really here. I'm going to go to the trees. See if I can find that nest I had the other night. I think this is it. Let's see. Okay, I'll just leave it here to make sure that that's the nest. It looks like that's the nest. Those yellow ones are guarding the nest. They're all around like a perimeter, and the nest is encircled by all this security. And those trees are full of these nests. They're just not lit up. Only some light up at certain times. Get it back. Trying to center it. At this magnification, it's very difficult to center it. I'll leave it like this so you could see the adults working the nest. And those are all large adults over the nest. These things are more numerous than ants or anything else we have on this planet. This is the most numerous species on this planet at the moment. There's nothing that has more numbers in terms of population numbers than these things. And the entire moon hologram is made up solely of these entities. There is only them creating the image of the moon and fooling our perception. But there's really no moon there. It's all them. Now I'm looking at this on a very small 2 by 3 screen. That's in inches. I can't really see it all that well. I couldn't even find my other glasses that are better. I don't know where I put them. Hope I don't sit on them. I'll let that run for a minute. Let's see my glasses. Okay, I found the other glasses. Yeah, now I can see much better. You can see that the organisms are black, and there's a whole lot of them. You can see that the nest is active, and there's a lot of organisms actively involved in tending the nest. This is a colony, and it's a breeding colony. And all those things sparking up are clusters forming when enough of the organisms get together. They create a cluster, and that throws off a lot of heat, and the heat is caused by immense momentum and the speed that they're going at, and it's all created by momentum and biomass in close proximity. So all the revolutions there are circular, they're counterclockwise, and they're in all directions, 360 by 360 by 360, and maybe in other dimensions in 360, because these things are not limited to 3 dimensions or 4 dimensions. They're extra dimensional. Not only are they extraterrestrial, they're extra dimensional. And you can see that there are no collisions in all this commotion and all this super fast movement and all of this interaction. There are absolutely no collisions. Just think about that. There are no accidents. If orbs come together, they merge. That's done by choice. It's not an accident. But there are no accidental collisions of any sort. I've never seen one in all the years I've been watching these things. I've never seen a collision. And just look at how many there are. And this is everywhere. This is not just here in Toronto. This is our entire planet is just these things. I mean, so I'm going to look at some of these yellow guard clusters. Those are just forming. Let's see this one. Let's see this red one. Red is usually a dangerous color. So is orange. See, that one doesn't want to be seen. It just moves and sparks up somewhere else. You could see the two on the left there. Move it over. You can see the two on the left exchanging the orbs between them. And then the larger cluster just takes the other one in. They merge. And the other cluster that was larger becomes even bigger. And you can see that right now. So that's going to be a hexahedron soon. But this is all on a small level. When they get older and go up into the sky, I'll show you some in the sky. These things get very, very large, and they can extend for miles and miles. I don't know how far they can extend. They can extend, who knows, unlimited. They have no limit in size. It depends how many organisms are in the cluster, because they can all join into one thing, and and be huge, just like the moon hologram. You can see teleporting between the clusters when they shoot orbs back and forth. And it's done so fast. That's why we can't see them. Like these things are right here all around me, but I can't see them when they're close because they move too fast. So I have to settle for looking at them from far away. So you look at just forming clusters. And every time they do that, they're creating energy. So the momentum and the numbers of the biomass, the individual organisms, the number of them and their momentum creates energy that they use. So they create energy through motion and mass. Eventually, they're all going to be in a plasma state. So I'm going to get off of them and see what else I can see. Let's go back to the nest and see what's happening now. You can see the pace of life these things have. It's just immensely fast. And this is not when they do time travel, space travel, or interdimensional or intergalactic travel. They go much faster then. This is on a planetary scale on the ground when they're tending a nest, and look at the speed. This is the slowest pace they have, unless they want to come into your house and attack you and land on something. Then you really get to see what they look like. That's a different story, but that's done by choice. Otherwise, this is like their normal life cycle, and they move this way in general. I'm trying to see. So they're large adults. None of these are large adults. These are like the workers. They tend the nest, and there are larger, much larger ones that come like really late at night, but they beat their wings so fast that everything is a blur. They're very hard to take film of. Okay, let's see over here in the woods. Closer. You can see how fast they rotate around the nucleus or revolve around the nucleus. And they go in different directions around the nucleus, just like an atom, like electrons around an atom. That's about how these things operate, like atoms. But they're insects, they're not atoms. What they can do is particular turn into particles and disperse themselves like atoms, even smaller than atoms, and then they collect them. And this happens in a flash. Before you can blink, they can disperse and collect all of those little parts that compose a cluster. And they're breeding right here on Earth, all over. There's no place on Earth that's an exception. Just no place. I've traveled a lot. I've seen these things all over. That's across the water. Let's see what they're up to now. This is just below the bridge. Let's move it up a little bit. So you can see when the speed increases, it starts to turn to plasma. The cluster nucleus starts to turn to plasma. And when they decrease the speed, it just vanishes altogether. And then they're just free flying around until they join up in a cluster and start speeding up again. And then you get something like this that glows more. Let's see that one. So this is how they form a cluster. And you can see that it's moving. It's not stationary just in one place. It moves up and down, and that's why I gotta keep moving the camera. Because they're in motion and they're suspended in air. The reason they rotate counterclockwise is so that they don't get affected by gravity. So to them, this is like no gravity effect. The momentum and the counterclockwise movement cancels out gravity. And that's the reason they can go so fast. Now these things are intelligent, don't forget. They're not your normal bug. Okay, these are highly intelligent enough to cover great distances across the universe to come over here to our planet. And I know they travel through black holes. They use black holes as gateways, dimensional gateways, to open up portals into a part of the universe, into a galaxy, let's say, like ours. And they use the black holes within a galaxy to travel from spot to spot inside that galaxy, because each galaxy has numerous black holes. It doesn't just have one in the center. They have large and small black holes all over. Just because we can't see them, it doesn't mean they're not there. So that's below the bridge, and that's how the clusters are formed. I'm going to back off. You see they're stretched right across the bay, and that's right below the bridge. The bridge is maybe 10 feet higher than that, and they are about 6 feet over the water, and these ones over here, they're on the water. Some maybe even in the water. Let's see what these two are. Okay, those are not in the water. They're right above the water. I'm gonna just move that up. Okay, so right below them is the water. The dark part there is the water. So the top ones there that barely show on the top of the frame, they're about 6 feet off the water, and these are about maybe 3 feet. 3 feet or less. I'll go in and see this one. So just look at the numbers of organisms. And that's just the nucleus. The thing to remember is this entire area is covered with these things like a black blanket, and they're just moving so fast we just can't see them, but they're all over the place. Like this whole area, look at all the little flickers. The whole thing is full. Now I showed what's in the water the last time, so let's see what these are doing. These are submerged. They're half out, half submerged. Let's see if we can get these two. Okay. Those are like half in the water and half out. And you can see that the water is full of the same organisms as is the air. There is no difference between water and air. It's packed everywhere. So I'm waiting for the moon to come. It came last night, but I had the old stand and I just couldn't adjust it properly, so I didn't get much. I got some video that I can salvage, a few minutes. That's about it, but really good footage. It shows that these things are inside that moon hologram, but much larger than what you're looking at now, like a whole lot larger. And it shows that the entire moon hologram is just these things. But if it shows up tonight, now that I have everything set up, I'll make sure I check it out and see what I can do tonight when I'm ready. Just look at all of those organisms. Look at this bright white one. This is plasma. Okay, this one is in a plasma state. I'm going to lower that a little bit so we get a good look there in dead center. Now, don't look at these things through the eyepiece when they're in a plasma state. They can really damage your eyes. I don't know what kind of protection it takes to be able to look through the eyepiece at these things for any length of time, because they can really affect your vision permanently. I'm going to see if I can go any closer. Maybe at maximum. Yeah, that's about the maximum I can do. So the red part is semi-plasma, and the inner part, the nucleus itself, is pure plasma. And it goes like from red to yellow, green to white, and those are all different states of plasma. What that one's going to do is open up a portal. If it gets powered enough, it's going to open up a portal. And I'm talking about a dimensional portal or a time portal, like a time machine. And bring more of those things in from someplace else. They just funnel right in. That's like a gateway. That's the way they do it. Like when it does that kind of thing, that's when the gate is open. It doesn't have to be open for long, just a few seconds. Billions of them come in a few seconds. Look at the rate that they operate at. It doesn't take them long to funnel in or funnel through the portal, because they're on the other side ready, and then when it opens, they just pour right in. It's like Niagara Falls going through a pinhole. It's just amazing. And there, it's open. Okay, so you've seen that. Let's see what else I can show you. Okay, let's go back to these, see if there's anything changed. Okay, let's see this one. This one is feeding energy through those beams to the outer portions or the outer outskirts of the cluster nucleus. Each one of these clusters has a job. They have like different tasks. It's very organized. The whole thing is super organized, and their whole society and social structure is super organized. Nothing happens by accident, and I don't know if there's any free choice, because everything seems to run according to plan. So somebody there is calling all the shots, and it's not all of these things making up their mind what to do on their own. They have to follow a set plan. Otherwise they would all just be colliding and smashing into each other. So this one is doing the feeding of energy out to the organisms outside, farther outside of the nucleus, and to those that are close to the nucleus.